Hi folks, before I start the video I've just got to say I was really upset at the end of this trip and upset with myself because I lost my camera and memory card GoPro Hero 11 on the way back. I put an appeal on Facebook and whatnot, and I walked up and down the road where I think I lost it 4 times, and unbelievably on the 4th time I walked down the road this car stopped and a guy wound down his window and said, do you know any good wild camping spots? And I was like, why? Funny you should say. And he said, I've got your camera. And not only did he pick up the camera, a couple of minutes after I dropped it, he went back a couple of times, driving up and down to try and find me. And when I went back for the 4th time to look, we bumped into each other. And a guy called Paul Rogers, what a gent, what a good Samaritan. He's got a business, Morpeth Motor Parts, on Coopies Lane in Morpeth, and I have to say, if he's that honest a guy, he must run a canny business. Paul, thanks very much, real gentleman. Hi folks, it's Graham here. I'm off on another wild camp. I'm going to meet Mountain Hopper 57 and Shaun from Back in the Wild, and I don't quite know where we're going yet. You'll probably know better than me from the thumbnail at this point. Wow, this is spectacular coming over here. It really isn't a place to lose your footing though. Sleepy grass and just a sheer drop to rocks below. I mean, it's spectacular, but gotta be a bit careful. Thank goodness the hilly goes up really quickly. Just absolutely chucking it down when we got here, but got the shelter up and I'm inside now, and it's just nice and dry and sheltered, and for me this is almost one of the best bits of wild camping. Right, me and Shaun reckon the weather's clearing a bit, so I'm going to risk a look out, although you can still hear it coming down. Pretty amazing here. It's just spectacular, really dramatic and sort of romantic. You can imagine smugglers down here. We've got the tents on a spectacular bit of headland. This is rounded grass dome that you get fantastic views from. St Abbs is just over that hill there, that little bit of headland, and you can't quite see it from here. But of course St Abbs was famously stood in for New Asgard in the Avengers Endgame film, as you can tell from the sign when you drive into the village. Beautiful little place. There's our tents there, camped right up on a high point, and what a beautiful view we've got from it. Here's the sun coming out here. That is a welcome sight. Hopefully it'll dry things off a little bit and give us some great views. You feel a bit like primitive man out when you're wild camping, because you depend on the weather for so much. You can kind of understand why early cultures were into sun worship and all that. There's a couple of primitives right there. I wonder what they're discussing. Who to sacrifice. Hope it's not me. Here's proof the sun's coming out. There's a fantastic rainbow there that the GoPro might just pick up. I've just come for a mooch about before I lose the light entirely. There's the cliff top we're camping on up there. There's a rounded dome of grass up there, and it drops down to this little bay here. There's these 3 rocks here, look a bit unusual, look like they've been almost deliberately placed, like the remains of an old stone circle or something. Something a little bit unusual about them. Can you just make that figure out up there? That's Adrian. it's our sleepy for me. I'm going to, at my age, I'm going to do myself a mischief. I'm just going to hike back to the campsite. There's the Three Sisters again, three mysterious rocks. That's what they're called for me now, the Three Sisters. If they've actually got a name, let me know. Hi folks, it's 9:15 now and I haven't had my bait yet, and I've just got everything out ready to start cooking, and I can hear the pitter patter of rain starting, so I might end up cooking in the tent. I've got nothing fancy tonight though. I'm just going to cook a rump steak with garlic mushrooms and some mashed potato. I'm getting some stick off Mountain Hopper 57 because he's into just his camping meals now and decided he's not going to cook so much on camps. I think he's a bit jealous.
Jealous of the steak. I was saying, Shaun, you could walk a full mile that way and you wouldn't get a better pitch.
I'm going to season a bit with this mixture. It's homemade and I've had it that long I can't quite remember what's in it. There's definitely coriander, paprika, pepper, probably a crushed up bay leaf, and a few other bits and pieces, crushed fennel I think. Let's just season that side, give it 2 minutes and I'll flip it over. I'm going to slice them pretty thick, and I've peeled the garlic and I'll slice that up as well. A bit thinner than the mushrooms. Right, that steak's been cooking at least 2.5 minutes, so let's get that flipped. I'm going to try and have it rare. So actually I've got the steak cooked just how I like it. That's pretty rare. Looks really good. One of the best things about cooking on titanium is that it's a poor heat conductor. So although the water's boiling, I can pick it up by the handle. Into me mash. Ooh, that seems like an awful lot of water. I'll leave that bit out. Yeah, in the meantime, Shaun's been cooking some liver, so it's nice and pink. So I'm going to try a little bit of it. Wow, that is really good.
Alright, isn't it?
Have you cooked it in like some citrus or orange or something? Yeah, that was amazing. Nice one.
Dolphin. He's a pink boy. Keep an eye on that.
Shaun's just spotted some dolphins out here, but if I had a proper camera I'd show you them, but the GoPro's not going to pick them up. But it's amazing to be camping on this headland, cooking a steak and looking at seals and dolphins out here. What a beautiful place to camp. So it's 10 o'clock now and the sun's gone down and it's starting to get a little bit darker. But there's some beautiful pinks and blues coming out behind me over the sea, and after we had our bait, the sky's cleared up and we just watched a pod of dolphins racing in and out among the waves and watching the seabirds fly down onto the big rocks just out in the sea there. And what a magical place. I think we've just hit on with the weather as well. Sitting in the pub in St Abbs, the sky was completely white and it was bleaching down, and I couldn't have imagined a night as good as this. It's been really fabulous. Wet socks off, dry ones on. Really weird dream. I dreamt that we weren't camped on the sea cliffs, but were camped in St Abbs itself, on a grass verge in front of a hotel. And during the night, a volcano went off in the sea just about 100 yards out, and there was a huge black mushroom cloud in front of our tents. And I was a bit annoyed because for some reason I couldn't capture any footage of it. And then I had my dog with me, Darwin, and Darwin jumped in the sea and I couldn't get him back. I was frantic, and then I eventually got him out the sea and he was fine, except his legs were slightly shorter than normal. I guess that was okay. And then, because we're camping in St Abbs, a big crowd like formed behind. We're looking out at the volcano, the volcanic plume, and then some old guy started complaining that he didn't used to get wild campers here and we shouldn't be camping. And we thought, well, fair enough, we'll pack up. And then I noticed my Hilleberg, my Akto, had come apart at the seams. So I guess it wasn't bomb-proof, but to be fair, it was a volcano. So for me, one of the worst things about wild camping is having to pack your gear weight in the morning, but once it's all packed up in a neat little rucksack, it's a good feeling, especially when you do it before your mates. Thanks for coming along last night, folks. I had a really nice camp in a really special place, and I've just passed 1,000 subscribers, which I never expected I would do. That is, honestly, it's amazing to me. So thanks to everybody that's subscribed and watches the videos. It's really appreciated. I think it's absolutely mint, and I'll see you guys on the next one.